So you're a Ford owner and you've got this pesky P164C error code popping up. Yeah, you're in exactly the right spot. In this explainer, we're going to break down what this code actually means, what causes it, and most importantly, how to get it fixed. Let's get into it.
Picture this. You're just driving along, minding your own business, and then, bam, the dreaded check engine light flicks on. It's enough to give anyone a mini heart attack. But hey, don't panic. That light is just a message, and we're about to teach you how to speak its language. All right, let's get right to it. What in the world is this P164C code? I know, it sounds super cryptic, like your car is sending you a secret message. Well, we're about to pull back the curtain and solve this little mystery.
Okay, so the official name is a bit of a mouthful, right? Internal Control Module Start-Stop Performance Issue. Whoa. But here's the key thing to remember. This code means your car's main computer, the Powertrain Control Module, or PCM for short, is basically raising its hand and saying, hey, I've got a problem with myself. The easiest way to think about it is this. The PCM is the brain of your engine. Seriously, it controls everything. Fuel, timing, you name it. So when this brain finds an error within its own circuits, it triggers that P164C code to let you know something's up.
Okay, so we know what the code is. Now, for the fun part, the why. It's time to play detective and investigate the three most common culprits. We'll call them the usual suspects behind this error. First up, and honestly, this is often the simplest cause, a software glitch. It's just like when your phone or your computer acts up and needs an update to fix the bugs. Your car's brain, the PCM, can have a little programming hiccup that needs a software patch. Suspect number two, did you add any custom parts to give your ride a little extra oomph? Sometimes those cool aftermarket products can send signals that the factory-programmed brain just doesn't understand. That conflict can cause it to throw up its hands and trigger the P164C code. And then we have our third and final suspect, actual physical damage. Now, this is less common, but things like water getting in, too much vibration, or an electrical short can physically harm the PCM hardware. When that happens, you've got a genuine internal failure on your hands. So here's where things get really interesting. See, Ford knows all about these issues. They've put out these official guides for mechanics called Technical Service Bulletins, or TSBs. You can think of them like the official cheat sheets for fixing the problem. This table is great because it links each of our suspects directly to a specific bulletin, pointing the mechanic right to the solution. And that brings us to a really crucial part of this whole thing, the official clues right from the manufacturer. These service bulletins are literally the roadmap that technicians follow to get from uh-oh to all fixed. And boom, there it is, straight from the source. This is huge because it confirms that P164C is a known issue with well-documented fixes. This means you're not dealing with some weird, unsolvable ghost in the machine. There's a clear, manufacturer-approved path forward. And check this out. It's not just those main bulletins we talked about. As you can see, Ford has released a ton of other updates and documents over the years. This isn't some new, mysterious problem. It's a known issue that Ford has been on top of, giving mechanics a whole library of information to get the fix right. So, with all these official guides and clues, what do the fixes actually look like in the real world? Let's get into how a mechanic takes all this info and officially cracks the case. Well, the solution usually falls into one of these three buckets. A good mechanic will often start with the simplest fix first, a straightforward software update, kind of like updating an app on your phone. If that doesn't solve it, a full reprogramming might be next. And if the brain itself is physically damaged, well, then it's time for a replacement. All right, we've gone deep. We've defined the problem, we've identified the suspects, and we've looked at the solutions. Now, let's put it all together into an action plan that'll take you from being confused by that light on your dash to feeling totally confident about your next steps. So let's just recap the big stuff. That P164C code, it's your car's brain, the PCM, flagging an internal issue. The cause is probably a software glitch, a conflict with an aftermarket part, or some physical damage. But the best news is that Ford has official service bulletins that lay out the roadmap for the repair, whether it's a simple update or a full-on replacement. The real key takeaway? You are no longer in the dark. You can now walk into a shop and have a smart, informed conversation about what's going on. And that's our deep dive into Ford's P164C code. You've gone from seeing a mysterious warning light to understanding exactly what it means and what the path to fixing it looks like. So now that you're armed with all this info, what's your next move going to be?